working, man.
I know what my audience like. I did some independent films with Master P, and a lot of those movies did really well.
I'm ambitious, I'm a hustler. I have my own lane.
That's the thing about comedy. You wake up every day, you don't know if you're funny that day.
I found this young brother who's actively engaged in the stock market. So I'm going to bring him to the program right about now. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to Let's Go Live, Diont'e Boddie. What's good with you, Diont'e?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good, man. Thank you for coming on, man.
Yeah, no problem. Appreciate you for having me.
Now I know you got a little, you stressed for time. You here, there, everywhere. Got a lot going on. If you could just give our viewers a brief background of your foray, if you will, into the stock market. How did you get into buying and selling?
Okay, yeah, no problem. So I'm a recent graduate of Florida State University. I majored in actuarial science. So, just took a ton of classes in school, but I always realized my professor, they'll touch certain topics. They'll stay away a little bit. So it took, getting in there and just trying things, practicing. I learned a lot hands-on from trial and error. Over time, really, started with purchasing, some stocks. And then over time, I said, man, it's time to, jump off the roof. So, really gave it a try. And like I say, learned a lot over, that spent maybe 2 years in the game.
So 2 years so far. Now let me back up. Let me qualify this conversation for everybody watching. You are not licensed. We're not here to give advice.
Nah.
You're not no stock tips, no insider trading. You're just somebody who has found success, self-taught, and can share a few gems about trading.
Yeah, exactly. No license for me, like I say, man, hands-on learning, trial and error. I'm no professional,
Okay. All right. So let's get to it. Because recently, if you could tell the story, I put a call out yesterday and in some circles that I'm in, and we share some mutual acquaintances. And I was like, yo, I need somebody to talk, just Apple, Tesla. And they was like, well, holla at my man. Then I hollered at you and you was like, yo, as a matter of fact, today I just put X amount down and made X amount. And then you said, tomorrow I'm expecting to do X, Y, Z. And then I talked to you today and you was like, my man, I did X, Y, Z and a whole nother alphabet. Tell that story about what happened yesterday as far as Apple and Tesla is concerned and what type of success you met with yesterday.
Okay, yeah, perfect. I even want to backtrack even, a day before that. Let's go to Friday, okay? So all this time, Apple and Tesla, they say they about to do a stock split, okay? If people are not aware, a stock split originally means you're going to take the value of a company. The value isn't going to change, but you're going to change the price. So essentially, Apple stocks, normally sat around $500, and Tesla normally sat around $2,200, okay? So Apple did a 4-for-1 stock split. Essentially what they did was they took that share price, divided it by 4, and gave you 4 times the shares. So each share was originally worth $125, and they gave you 4 shares instead. So each person still has the same amount of money. Essentially, you just have more shares because the shares are worth a little bit less. Okay. Now, normally with a stock split, what happens is companies do stock splits because they want to allow, more of the average investor to invest in the company. Okay. Not many of us have $2,200 to buy a share of Tesla.
Right.
Maybe we're more likely to get a share if it drops down to $400 or $500. Not many of us can afford a $500 share Apple, but if it falls down to $100, more of average investors can invest in the game. Okay. So what happens is when more people buy these shares, it drives the price up. So Friday, I knew they was going to do the stock split. Okay. So I placed my option and everything. I said, this option is going to give me a lot of money come Monday. Okay. Monday, that's when I made the 2,600. Now the 2,600 was based off of Apple. Just from the prior knowledge from experience in stock splits happen, whenever a stock split happen, if it's more reasonable, normally the share price drive up, okay? So I made the 2,600 from Apple off of $500, okay? So instead of buying 1 share of Apple, I instead said I'm gonna get 1 contract of Apple, okay?
What does that mean?
Okay, so a contract is options, okay?
Okay, options, right?
Yeah, so essentially that's a whole nother ballpark.
Yeah. Puts and calls and all that.
Yeah. It's just honestly, it's just betting on the direction of the stock. A call is just saying the stock price gonna go up. A put just saying it's gonna go down. Okay. And I basically put $500 on it saying it's gonna go up. Twist is, if it don't go up, you lose all your money basically.
Okay, right.
More risky. but it comes with more reward. Okay. Put $500 on Apple saying it's going to go up. Okay. That $500 turned to $3,300, which is about what, 2,800 profit.
Okay.
Had that 2,800 profit. Next day, come Monday, I put that on Zoom. Okay. I took $500, turned it to 33, took the 33, put it on Zoom. And I told you, I said, this is going to be worth at least 10 stacks in the morning.
That's what you said yesterday.
I said, it's going to be worth 10 stacks in the morning. Wake up.
Now stop. Hold it.
Okay.
So what made you go that direction with Zoom? Is it something you read? Is it something you heard? Is it a feeling you had? What made you do that?
Okay. Yeah. That's a good question. So essentially, whenever you do options or whenever you're doing stocks, you want to understand what's going on in the market. Okay. So Zoom had an earning report yesterday, which essentially just means they're going to tell you how much money did they make this quarter. Okay. Now, if you were watching Zoom last quarter when they did an earnings report, their sales went up tremendously. It doubled last quarter. Okay. So that was based off of January to March. Now, COVID happened initially around March time. Okay. So essentially, if you think 1 month out of the 3 months that they're reporting, that caused sales to double. Okay. So now they're reporting April to July. So that you can really factor in. Those are all months that have been COVID affected. Okay. Now, remember, it's the program. Okay. A lot of this stuff takes a little bit of analytical skills and knowledge with it. Okay. How many more people are using programs like Zoom now that we have to telework? Now we have to work from home. How many more people need these products? Okay. So I essentially said a lot more people are buying these things right now because people need it. Everyone's home. Everyone's, been forced to work from home. These sales have to have increased over this quarter. Okay. So that's how I thought of Zoom. I knew the earnings report was coming out. Right. I thought through it. I said, man, a lot of people going to have, have to have bought this product, which means they're going to have made a lot of money.
Now, before you reveal what happened today, I had told you earlier that when I first started getting curious about the stock market, I opened a Robinhood. This is around March when we were at home, and I looked at Zoom and I was like, man, that's probably about to be the future. and it was like 150. Mm-hmm. And I was like, man, I should just get one share. And then some negative press started happening because it was getting hacked, and then Microsoft started running commercials on TV. Teams better, and then my job, they're doing WebEx. So I stopped looking and looked away, and then you told me today that they've kind of bolstered their infrastructure.
Yep.
Which is kind of the reason that the price started going up again. Which also tells me that when you get in this game, you have to actively pay attention continuously.
Yeah.
Or else you'll miss, opportunities. So what happened today?
Yeah. So, just to touch on that real quick, you always got to pay attention because, you might play a position, which means, place an option on something, buy a contract, and then that can change. News come out, and that change. It's like giving you an example. If you betting on the Lakers to win tonight and they tell you that the starting five not playing, you might want to cancel that bet, So I remember you said Zoom, it was at 150. I remember you was telling me about the bad news and everything. Yep. I said, man, but they came back and, put this money on security. And imagine how that has changed the program. And, it's covered all the press and everything. So to today, I woke up, turned 500, like I said, on Friday in the 3,300, 2,600 profit Monday. Took the 2,600. I took my 500 off the table now. I said, hey, I want my money back. Worst case scenario, I get my money back now. Okay. Took the 2,600, put it on Zoom, woke up this morning, 29 stacks. 29 large, 29 stacks.
And when you say, okay, this ain't gambling, this ain't the casino. When you say put it on, what does that even mean? Like, are you saying at a certain price point, I want y'all to buy X amount of shares and or sell X amount of shares? And what was the spike overnight that caused you to arrive at that type of return?
Okay. So when I say put it on, essentially what I mean is bought an option and placed a contract agreeing that I'm basically saying my money is on this stock is about to go up. Okay. Now with options, it's not only about when it's going to go up. You have to call the exact time that it's going to go up. I said it's going to go up tonight.
Now, how did you know that? So you're trading after hours?
Not necessarily. I'm saying the movement is going to happen after hours, but I'm going to place the ticket basically on the contract, on the option before the market closed.
Now, where did you get that type of intuition or knowledge? Just based on your experience thus far, or
Yeah.
how do you even know that's a thing to do?
All these are good questions, okay? The earnings report was happening as soon as the market closed yesterday, okay? So I knew after the earnings report, they were going to tell the world how much money they made. They were going to say, hey, we made this. By the way, they quadrupled their sales this quarter. They quadrupled this quarter their sales that they made the entire last year. The stock went from $310 to $460.
Which is very significant.
It rose $150.
Yeah.
It rose 50, 60% in a day. Stocks move maybe 2 to 3% in a day.
Right.
If that, that's great movement. To see a stock move 50, 60% in a day.
Now, is any of that fluff? Like, do you think any of that is inflated? Do you think any of that is like them really, doing some excellent marketing and leaking info? And like, how does something have that type of growth overnight?
See, this is the thing. That's what makes earning reports so valid. Okay, it's where you get a real insight of a company. It's illegal to fluff. Now what they'll do, they'll obviously, politician. You'll try to talk around it. You'll say, sales have been decent. You might try to talk around and give some fluff, but the number you provide, that has to be factual. That's what makes earning reports so good.
Right. So with that, not to be in your pockets and all of that, counting at 29. Now, what happens is that you take that money and you reinvest. If you pull it out, do you get hit with capital gains? Like for the novice investor, what do you do with that money? Can you pull that out, cash app yourself? How does that work?
Yeah. So, you can cash out the money, anytime. With me personally, I actually, I cashed out 20 stacks. I left 9 stacks on. And obviously that's going to be taxed. You said the capital gains, you already know they're going to tax that 20, 30%, the government,
you can live with that.
Yeah, they got to get theirs,
Yeah.
But yeah, you can cash out your money anytime. Me personally, I like to take a lot more off. Honestly, I plan on even taking more than this off. I just had another really good idea that I was like, man, I got to go back in,
Yeah. So what do you use? Do you use like Robinhood, Fidelity? Like, what are some of the apps that you would suggest, or not even suggest, but that you're familiar with?
So I currently use Robinhood. Just because, like I say, I'm beginner, but not beginner. I'm just, like I say, trial and error, learn on my own, figure it out. But I honestly think I'm to the point now where I have to upgrade. I've been looking at a Thinkorswim. That I'm thinking about doing. I've been looking at Fidelity, like you said. I've been looking at Ameritrade. And one of the biggest differences is on Robinhood, you can trade for free. Okay.
Right.
So you can buy contracts and things like this for free. But on these other, apps and things, you have to pay a commission fee. It may be 6 cents per trade, 10 cents per trade, etc. So we always take free first. But this is the problem. Okay. The people who pay to be able to make these trades, they get priority over you. So what I mean by that is you may go try to sell your contract in the morning and it won't go through. And Robinhood has been crashing a lot lately, just because of the high activity. It's not programmed to handle all this activity, and it's free. So sometimes you can't get your money off the table.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's cool. So any advice for like beginners, first timers? The question is always, what type of money do I play with? How much is too little? How much is enough? Like when you started 2 years ago, what type of monies were you playing with on the table?
Man, I started 2 years ago. I was in college. I might get my financial aid, and I might put, $100 in. But if I had to give any advice, I would say, understand it's a process. Like you're not going to wake up. You can. That's the beautiful thing about the market. You can, but it's very unlikely. You wake up, you roll over tomorrow and you making 20, 30 stacks, but it's a process. But what I love about it is it's sort of like life. You learn these lessons, you'll never have to learn them again. I missed out on Zoom last time it jumped, but this time I knew when Zoom earning report was coming out again, I knew what time it was. So I would say start by putting a little money to the side, whatever you can, whether it's $20, $30. I started by actually purchasing shares in companies and it grew to at least double that, maybe over 7 to 10 months. And then I was able to say, I'm big on take my money off the table. I need my money off the table. So, it's a process though. Understand that.
So let's go to the peanut gallery. Brandon Horn says, how did you learn about options?
Yeah, great question. So, me, like I said, and it's a funny story. I'm gonna try to say it real quick, okay? I was sitting in one of my actuarial classes at Florida State, and my professor, he started this game, a stock simulator game, and he was like, whoever wins, we're gonna start this game on the first day of class. Last day of class, whoever has the most money is gonna get 20% extra on their final exam, okay? So everyone's being real competitive and everything. We trade and everything. He gave everybody 100 stacks, okay? So I get my 100 stacks. I'm diversifying the portfolio, getting a little balance, everything. I'm making a little money and everything. 2-3 months later, everybody come back to class. We all excited to report our numbers, okay? So my portfolio went from 100 stacks to like 103, okay? It didn't really grow much over time. I actually lost a lot of money from the fluctuation, things like that. Some people portfolio went from 100 to 98. I think the largest amount out of like this subgroup was maybe like $106,000, $107,000, right? Because remember, we was only trading for like 2 months, okay? The person who ended up winning, he had $5 million. He took 100,000 and turned it into 5 million. Everyone else, I'm talking about the second closest person, had like 108,000.
Right.
And what he did, he traded options. So my professor never actually taught me options, but that's the first day that I got exposure to say, I got to learn that because it multiplied the money so significantly higher than anyone else.
Right. Wow. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Diont'e Boddie, just an enthusiast. Again, I gotta say this, not licensed. This is not advice. This is a gentleman on here. I wanted to bring this brother on to tell his story, share his experiences. Now, before I let you go, you're launching an endeavor, and without specifically really diving into it, can we just give you your social media so people can reach you directly to find out what that endeavor is?
Yeah, sure. So I get to the business page, investors_table. That's INVESTORS_table. And that's Instagram. You can go in there. We have our website in our bio. You can check out the website. And that's perfect.
Investors. So I'm gonna put it up here real quick. Investors table on IG.
Yeah, investors_table.
Investors_table.
Yep.
All right, I did it, man. Hey, man, best to you. I appreciate you for taking the time out. Good luck with the endeavor too. We'll be talking offline more about that because I'm interested. But yeah, so if y'all want to get at him, investors_table, Diont'e Boddie, Florida State's finest apparently. And I'll get with you, man. Appreciate you for coming on.
Hey, definitely. Salute, man. Appreciate you for the opportunity.
All right.
All right.
There it is, y'all. I just really wanted to bring him on, man, and kind of, because it's a lot. I just started, right? So I definitely don't have enough knowledge and wherewithal. I'm out here losing money. So I wanted to bring somebody on and I can grab an expert, but I wanted to bring somebody that's more or less close to me and my capabilities, but can articulate it a little better than I can to you to show that you too can do it. Because he's doing it and he did it. And so they have him and his team, they have an endeavor. So you can check that out. Y'all not gonna get me on an FCC violation. So you can check out his Instagram and see what they got going on over there. So Diont'e Boddie, investors_table. They got a situation jumping off at 7:00 tonight, actually. So make sure you get there real quick. Man, interesting stuff. I got to tell you, Zoom, I had about a year ago, I had a Zoom account, a corporate Zoom account. I was doing these interviews for Dr. Boyce Watkins. He was launching this whole new online digital platform, and he put out a call to hire interviewers. And I was selected. It was about 10 of us, and we were doing interviews with his corporate account, right? So we had all the logins and access and all that. And I was like, this is cool. I was like, I don't know. I was like, what's different than FaceTime? But it had more of a corporate, professional feel to it. And I looked at the stock and it was like 44. This is last spring. This is spring before last. It was like 44. So when the quarantine and lockdown happened, in March, I opened the Robinhood account because I had like 7 people sending me to join Robinhood and get a free stock. Right? Everybody was like, "Yo, you need to. It's easy. You need to." So I finally got on Robinhood, put like $100 in there, got the free stock. My free stock was a GoPro, the cameras. Let me tell you, that stock has not moved. That free joint is a hustle. Anyway, so I watched Zoom, and Zoom was like 139 then. And then we hear all this virtual classroom stuff, right? March, April. And I'm like, this the future? But I can't tell. And then right when I'm about to thumb and push the button on buy, give me one share. I just want one share. And all that press, Zoom getting hacked, and every day was a negative report for like a week. And, my limited knowledge of things being circular and cyclical is going to come back. I was like, oh man, Zoom is dead. It's done. Then Bill Gates starts running these Microsoft commercials on TV, Teams. And then at the job, there were some features that they didn't like about Zoom. So we using WebEx at the work. So between WebEx at the work, Teams in the school system, I was like, Zoom's done. Who knew? And I ain't pay attention. Next thing you know, Zoom 400 something whatever dollars. And my man, shout out to him though. He really worked that. That's a wonderful situation. I want to get better at it, and hopefully we all too. Because there's some people who say, when you talk about, when you read and hear those talks about generational wealth and all of that, they talk about real estate and the stock market, point blank, period. And we got to learn both, and we got to play the game, be able to pass on that wealth.
I don't care if it is a closet. You still looking mad efficient.